Leg cramps at night? That sudden bolt of pain that grabs your calf, locks your foot, and leaves you gasping in the dark? Tonight we're going to stop it at the source by ending 6 common evening habits that silently prime your legs for a cramp. And it won't take a gym membership, fancy supplements, or a perfect body. Just a few tiny swaps you can do right now, tonight, in the time it takes to brush your teeth. If you've ever jolted awake with your calf knotted like a rock, stay with me. In the next minutes you'll learn why it happens after sunset, which 6 habits quietly trigger the pain, what to do in the moment, a 2-minute bedtime microroutine to guard your sleep, and a simple 7-day plan to make peaceful nights your new normal, especially if you're over 60. Here's my promise. I'll give you the 6 most common nighttime triggers, show you exactly why each one can spark a cramp, and spell out what to do the very same evening to switch it off. We'll build a tiny, 2-minute routine you can keep beside your pillow, and a realistic 7-day plan that fits a real life, not a perfect one. I'll also show you when a cramp isn't just a cramp and you should get it checked. My goal is simple: fewer shocks, fewer jump outs of bed, and more of that quiet, heavy sleep where your body restores itself. Before we fix the habits, it helps to understand why the night is prime time for cramps. Picture your day like a gentle river. You move, you stand, you walk a little, you shuffle in the kitchen, you climb a few steps. Every time your ankle bends and straightens, your calf muscles act like a pump, squeezing blood back up toward the heart. That movement keeps oxygen and nutrients flowing to your muscles and clears out waste. Then evening arrives. We sit down after dinner and stay put. The river slows to a pond. Blood pools a little more in the lower legs. The muscles cool and get a touch stiffer. That's strike 1. Strike 2 hides under the blankets. Many people, especially when they lie on their stomachs or point their toes to stretch under a cozy duvet, end up with their feet in a pointed position without even noticing. It's comfortable, but it shortens the calf. A shortened muscle is easier to irritate. If your toes spend hours drifting into a ballerina point, the calf quietly tightens. Then one turn, one little twitch, and snap, the cramp bites. Strike 3 often comes from what and when we drink and nibble at night. Your muscles thrive on steady hydration and a calm, even river of minerals. When you hardly drink all day and then down a lot of water or alcohol right before bed, your system lurches. The kidneys push fluid out, you wake up to pee, your sleep fragments, and your muscles get irritated from the roller coaster. Add a salty or sugary late snack that tugs fluid into the gut or spikes blood sugar, and you've created a perfect storm: restless sleep, twitchy nerves, and muscles that are short, cool, and undernourished. That is nighttime cramp territory in a nutshell. Less movement, feet accidentally pointing, and hydration or snack choices that nudge the muscle chemistry the wrong way. Now let's rewrite the script, 1 habit at a time. We'll move gently, we'll keep it simple, and we'll make each change small enough to actually do, not just think about. Let's start with the first habit, what I call the couch marathon. You know the one. Dinner's done, the show is on, and suddenly 2 hours have passed. When we sit without breaks for 2 to 4 hours after dinner, the calf muscles go quiet. The little pump that helps venous blood travel uphill slows to a trickle. Over time, the lower legs get that heavy feeling, a touch of swelling around the ankles, and a creeping stiffness in the calf. Stiff muscle plus reduced flow is a classic setup for a cramp at midnight or around 3 in the morning. The fix does not require a workout. It only takes 90 seconds an hour. Set a soft chime on your phone or kitchen timer. When it goes off, stand up. Do 30 ankle pumps on each side, heel down, toes up, then toes down, heel up, like you're pressing and releasing a gas pedal. Then do 10 gentle heel raises, lifting your heels so you come onto the balls of your feet, and slowly down. Finish with 10 roomy, knee-lifting steps down the hallway or living room. This mini-circuit asks your calf to squeeze and release, wakes up the flow, and restores the slide of the muscle fibers without strain. If balance is an issue, hold the back of a chair or place a hand on the wall. 90 seconds per hour might sound too easy. Easy means you'll actually do it. If you're watching a movie, do the routine at scene changes or every time the show breaks. If you're reading, do it at the end of each chapter. The point isn't to sweat. It's to remind your calves that they're alive, warm, and long. The second habit is sneaky because it happens after you close your eyes. It's sleeping with your foot in a pointed position because the blanket presses on your toes or because it simply feels cozy to stretch the foot like that. That position shortens the calf all night long. Imagine a rubber band you keep in a shortened loop for hours. The moment you tug it, it fights back. Your calf behaves the same way. The fix is wonderfully simple. As you get into bed, slide a small pillow or folded towel under your calves so your heels rest and your ankles naturally fall into a slightly flexed position, toes gently tip toward your shins rather than toward the footboard. Think of it as a whisper of dorsiflexion, not a stretch. Also, free your toes from heavy pressure. If the blanket is heavy, make a little tent for your feet by placing a light pillow near the end of the bed to lift the covers just enough so they don't push your toes downward. If you sleep on your stomach, try rolling a quarter turn onto your side and place a pillow between your knees so your ankles don't default into that ballerina point. You shouldn't feel any strain. The goal is neutral, not yoga. The third habit is sleeping in tight socks or wearing compression that isn't correctly fitted for night. Medical-grade compression stockings can be wonderful during the day for venous insufficiency when used as prescribed, but they aren't typically worn at night unless your clinician specifically recommends it. And everyday tight socks or bands that dig into your calves can press at the wrong spot, irritate nerves, and interfere with gentle overnight flow. The immediate swap is simple: sleep with bare lower legs or in loose sleep socks that leave no mark. If you use medical compression, remove it for night as guided by your clinician and elevate your legs for 10 to 15 minutes before bed by resting your calves on a pillow so the heels are supported and the knees are easy. That small elevation helps move fluid out of the lower legs and gives your calves a softer start to the night. If you tend to get chilly, choose a looser, ribbed sock that you can pinch away from the skin. If you see a dent in the morning, that sock was too tight for sleep. The fourth habit is chaotic hydration, barely sipping all day and then gulping glasses of water or a nightcap before bed. Muscles like steady. Nerves like steady. Your bladder and sleep like steady. When you flood late, two things happen. The first is you wash through quickly and wake to urinate, which fragments sleep. The second is a subtle shift in the fluid balance around the muscle cells that can make them cranky, especially if alcohol is involved, which can dehydrate and irritate the neuromuscular junction. The swap is kindness, not perfection. Front-load your fluids throughout the morning and afternoon. Keep a glass where you'll see it. Take slow sips with every meal and 1 or 2 sips each hour rather than chugging at night. Aim for your last proper glass 60 to 90 minutes before bed. If you're thirsty in the evening, take a small mouthful to satisfy, not a pint to overfill. And if alcohol tends to be part of your evening, consider shrinking the serving and moving it earlier with dinner, followed by a glass of water. Your muscles will thank you at 3 a.m. The fifth habit is the dry, refined late-night snack. Think crackers, plain white toast, cookies, or even a piece of fruit by itself. These quick carbs can spike blood sugar and pull fluid into the gut, leaving muscles slightly drier and more irritable. They can also set you up for a small blood sugar dip later in the night that nudges you out of deep sleep, which is when cramps love to attack. The solution isn't to ban snacks. It's to pair them correctly so they digest slowly and support steady hydration. Combine a protein with fiber. A small bowl of plain yogurt with a spoon of chia seeds stirred in creates a gel that holds fluid and releases it evenly. A small apple with a thin smear of peanut butter gives you fiber with steadying fat and protein. A slice of true whole grain bread with a bit of ricotta or cottage cheese is another gentle option. The idea is to avoid sharp spikes and keep your muscle cells quietly content. Keep the portions modest. You want comfort, not a feast. The sixth habit is a good intention done the wrong way. Stretching hard just before bed, especially yanking the toes toward your shin until it hurts. A fast, forceful stretch on a cool, shortened muscle can irritate the calf and make it more likely to cramp, not less. A better way taps into your body's built-in wiring called reciprocal inhibition. When you activate the muscle on the front of the shin gently, the calf on the back quiets down. So before bed, do 12 gentle toe-up pulses. Sit or lie with your legs straight or slightly bent and lift your toes toward your shins like you're saying hello with your feet, then relax. Slow, smooth pulses, not jerks. Then do 5 soft isometrics by pressing your heels down into the mattress for 3 seconds each, just enough to feel engagement in the back of the lower leg but no pain. This eases the calf without provoking it. Save deep stretches for the day, after a walk or a warm shower, and even then, move into them gradually and hold comfortably rather than yanking. Before we go further, I want to tell you a quick story that pulls all of this together. George is 72, retired, and loves his evening detective shows. He naps a little after dinner without meaning to, wakes up at 9, remembers he barely drank water during the day, and gulps 2 glasses so he won't be dehydrated. He shuffles to bed, tucks the heavy duvet under his feet because he likes the tucked-in feeling, and falls asleep. At 2 in the morning, his bladder wakes him. He comes back to bed, points his toes as he slides back under the covers, and as he rolls onto his stomach, his right calf grabs so hard he shouts. He tries to yank his toes up to stretch, which makes it worse. He keeps rubbing and hopping until it releases. By morning he's sore, bleary, and anxious it will happen again. Now, rewind the tape with a few tiny swaps. George sets a quiet timer that dings every hour from 7 to 10. At each ding he stands, does 30 ankle pumps, 10 heel raises, and 10 slow hallway steps holding the countertop for balance. He keeps rubbing and hopping until it releases. By morning he's sore, bleary, and anxious it will happen again. Now, rewind the tape with a few tiny swaps. George sets a quiet timer that dings every hour from 7 to 10. At each ding he stands, does 30 ankle pumps, 10 heel raises, and 10 slow hallway steps holding the countertop for balance. He keeps a glass near his favorite chair and sips slowly through the evening, stops his last full glass at 8:30, and if he's thirsty later he takes 2 small sips and stops. At bedtime, he places a soft pillow under his calves, lets his ankles settle in a neutral position, and tents the end of the duvet with another little pillow so his toes are free. In the dark, before rolling to sleep, he does 12 toe-up pulses and 5 gentle heel presses into the mattress, then 20 seconds of light upward strokes on each calf to invite warmth. That night, his bladder wakes him only once. When he returns to bed, his ankles are not in a pointed trap, and his calves feel loose. No cramp. The next night, the same routine. A week later, he notices his calves feel longer, and the old fear of the 3 a.m. bolt has faded. That's how small swaps, stacked, become real protection. Let's cement the routine with something you can do right now, tonight, in just 2 minutes when you climb into bed. Start by lying comfortably on your back or slightly turned to one side with a small pillow under your calves so your heels are supported and your ankles rest in a gentle toes toward shins position. Now do 30 ankle pumps on the right foot, then 30 on the left. Smooth, easy motion, like you're rocking your feet to slow music. Follow with 12 toe-up pulses with both feet together, lifting the toes toward your shins, pausing, and letting them relax. Then use your fingertips to give each calf 20 seconds of very light upward strokes from ankle toward knee, like guiding water upstream. Slow, friendly touch. You're not kneading bread, you're reminding the tissue that it can glide. Finish by checking your blanket. Free the toes from pressure. If needed, prop the covers so they hover rather than push. Let your ankles settle back into that neutral position. That's your 2-minute night shield. No strain, no sweat, no drama, just a quiet signal to your calves that the night will be calm. If a cramp does sneak through, here's a gentle in-the-moment approach that uses the same principles. Instead of yanking your toes hard, first soften the calf by activating the shin. Lift your toes slightly toward your shin, just to the edge of discomfort, and hold for 3 slow breaths. Then press your heel down into the mattress for 3 seconds and release, repeating 2 or 3 times. If you can stand safely, step to the floor, hold a wall or the edge of the bed, and very slowly let your heels sink toward the ground with the knees slightly bent, stopping before pain. Breathe into the spot, and gently shake out the leg when the cramp eases. Then do a few ankle pumps and slip the pillow under your calves again. Many people find that simply preventing the toes from pointing right after a cramp stops a second one from following. Because consistency beats intensity, let's build a 7-day plan that layers the changes in a way that sticks. For the first 2 days, make it easy. Ditch tight socks at night. If you wear compression stockings in the daytime, remove them for sleep if that's your clinician's guidance. At bedtime, do the 2-minute micro-routine we just practiced. That's your whole job for days 1 and 2. On days 3 and 4, upgrade the evening snack and the timing of your last glass. Pair your snack with protein and fiber, yogurt with chia, a small apple with peanut butter, or whole grain toast with ricotta, and make your last proper glass of water 60 to 90 minutes before bed. If you're thirsty later, take a small sip and stop. Keep doing the 2-minute routine at lights out. On day 5, add the 90-second movement break each hour after dinner. 30 ankle pumps, 10 heel raises, 10 roomy steps. If you forget for an hour, no scolding. Just do it once when you remember and resume. On day 6, adjust your bedding and foot position with intention. Place the small pillow under your calves, tent the covers, or try sleeping on your side with a soft pillow between your knees and ankles so your feet rest neutral. On day 7, look back. Were the cramps less frequent, less intense, or did they vanish? Which changes felt effortless? Keep those. Which ones felt fussy? Modify them. This isn't about a perfect score. It's about finding the set of small moves that, for your body, flips the night from twitchy to tranquil. While we are here, there are a few important signs that deserve attention beyond home strategies. If one leg suddenly becomes swollen, warm, or red, if you notice pain in the calf when you walk that eases when you stop, if the cramp always strikes the same leg in the same place and is new for you, or if you have new weakness or numbness, those are reasons to seek medical evaluation promptly. Most nighttime cramps are harmless but miserable. A few are the body's way of waving a red flag. It's always wise to listen. Let's return to the heart of this video and make the 6 habits crystal clear so they're easy to remember when the lights go out. First, don't let the couch hold your calves hostage for hours. Every hour in the evening, Stand and do the 90-second flow, 30 ankle pumps, 10 heel raises, 10 wide, slow steps. Second, don't let your toes be trapped in a ballerina point under heavy covers. Give your ankles a neutral home with a small pillow under your calves and free the toes by tenting the blanket. Third, skip tight socks in bed and don't wear compression at night unless prescribed. Let the lower legs breathe and elevate for 10 to 15 minutes before lights out. Fourth, don't flood late. Spread your water gently through the day and take your last real glass an hour to an hour and a half before bed. If you enjoy a drink, shrink it and move it earlier with dinner, and follow it with water. Fifth, avoid naked simple carbs at night. Pair your snack with protein and fiber so your muscles enjoy steady support. Sixth, skip the hard pre-bed stretch. Instead, coax the calf calm with 12 toe-up pulses and 5 gentle heel presses into the mattress. If you like memory hooks, try this. Flow, float, free, fluid, food, and finesse. Flow means the 90-second movement breaks. Float means a little elevation and the pillow under your calves. Free means free the toes from pressure and free your legs from tight socks. Fluid means steady sips by day and no late flood. Food means protein plus fiber pairings. Finesse means gentle activation instead of aggressive stretching. 6 F's to guard your sleep. I'd like to walk you through what this looks like in a real evening so it feels natural. Imagine it's 6:30. You finish dinner. You put a glass of water on the coffee table and take a few sips while you settle in. The show starts. At 7:30, your phone chimes softly. You smile, stand, hold the back of a chair, and do your ankle pumps, your heel raises, and your 10 steps. It takes less than 2 minutes. You sit back down and enjoy your story. Around 8:15 you make a small snack. Half a cup of plain yogurt, a teaspoon of chia, and a few blueberries. You stir the chia in and let it sit for 5 minutes so it thickens. You take a few relaxed bites and a few slow sips of water. At 8:30, you have your last full glass, not a huge one, just enough to satisfy. At 9:30 you do your movement mini-circuit again and turn off the TV at a stopping point rather than waiting until you're half asleep. In the bedroom you place a pillow under your calves, tent the end of the blanket, and lie back. You pulse the toes up 12 times, press the heels down 5 times, and stroke each calf lightly for 20 seconds. You feel your ankles settling neutral, your calves a little warmer and looser. You take 1 small sip of water on the nightstand if your mouth is dry. Lights out. In the middle of the night, maybe you wake once for the bathroom. You keep the light low, return to bed, check your feet are free, do a couple of ankle pumps, and let yourself fall back into that heavy, warm sleep. That's the kind of night that heals. Because you might be wondering about supplements, minerals, and the old advice you've heard, let's address 2 quick myths. The first myth says it's all about potassium. Potassium matters, yes, but it's not the whole story, and many nighttime cramps are driven more by mechanics and timing than by a single mineral. When you change your evening habits, how long you sit, how your feet are positioned, when and what you drink and snack on, you often solve the problem without chasing pills. The second myth says a hard stretch will end a cramp and prevent the next one. In the middle of a cramp, a sharp yank can make the muscle fight back. Calm it with gentle activation first, then lengthen slowly. Prevention belongs to calm, not force. I'm going to share a few extra refinements for those of you who love details. If your ankles are stiff in the morning, add 10 ankle circles per side while sitting on the edge of the bed. Slow, controlled circles and then reverse. If your calves feel like guitar strings by evening, a warm washcloth over the muscles for a minute before your micro-routine can help them welcome the gentle movements. If your feet tend to cramp along with your calves, you can include toe spreads, placing your feet flat on the floor and gently spreading the toes apart and relaxing them 10 times, which wakes up the small foot muscles that support your arch and can reduce calf overwork. If balance is tricky, you can perform the heel raises and steps holding a countertop with both hands, or do seated ankle pumps and then stand only for the 10 steps with support. If you love to track progress, jot down 3 things for a week. Did you cramp? What time? And how intense was it from 0 to 10? Most people notice the time shifts later, the intensity drops first, and within a week the frequency falls. Use that as encouragement. Another refinement involves the way you sit after dinner. The deeper the knee bend, the more the calf is kept slightly shortened. If you recline with your feet back under the chair, the calf quietly tightens. Try this instead. When you sit, slide your feet forward a few inches so the knee angle opens and your ankle rests closer to neutral. Every commercial break, gently rock your feet up and down. These micro moves add up. If you're traveling or at a concert or anywhere you can't walk around easily, do seated pumps and roll a small ball or your fists up the calf in gentle strokes, upward only, never pounding. The key is to keep blood moving and the muscle gliding. If you share a bed, make your anti-cramp setup partner-friendly. That small pillow under your calves is usually unobtrusive. If the blanket is heavy on both sides, consider a lighter throw just for your side so you can tent it without changing your partner's covers. If you prefer the weight of a heavy blanket for comfort but it pushes your toes, use a blanket support bar or even a simple box at the foot of the bed to lift the weight off your feet. Comfort and calf freedom can coexist. You might also wonder about shoes. During the day, long hours in shoes with a raised heel keep the calf slightly shortened. If your evenings are plagued by cramps, consider spending more time in footwear with a modest, flatter profile and a flexible forefoot that allows your ankle to move. If you have foot pain or special needs, follow your clinician's advice. But in general, a shoe that lets the ankle glide encourages healthier calf length. One more story, because stories teach. Maria is 68 and cares for her grandchild after school. She's active in the afternoon but collapses into the sofa in the evening. She sleeps on her stomach with her feet hanging off the mattress. She also loves buttery crackers at 10 p.m. while she watches old movies. Her cramps visits were regular as the clock. She thought she had to stretch harder. Instead, she stopped wearing tight sleep socks, placed a small pillow under her calves, and moved her snack an hour earlier, pairing half a slice of whole grain bread with ricotta instead of crackers. She did the 2-minute routine in bed. In 4 nights, the cramps that had screamed at 2 a.m. dulled to a whisper and then stopped. She told me, "I didn't get younger, I got smarter about the evening." That's exactly it. To bring everything together, picture your night like a gentle landing strip. Your job is to guide your calf muscles to land smoothly. The cues are simple. Remind them to move a little, position them so they rest long, feed them steady, hydrate them kindly, and invite them to relax with slow signals rather than sudden orders. Tiny rituals create big results. Every hour after dinner, a 90-second movement pause. At snack time, pair protein with fiber. With fluids, sip by day and stop with a friendly last glass 60 to 90 minutes before bed. When you pull up the covers, free your toes, support your calves, and send a quiet message with toe pulses, heel presses, and a little upward massage. This is ordinary, doable, and effective. If you've tried things before and they didn't stick, give yourself a fresh start. Choose the 2 easiest changes tonight. Maybe it's the calf pillow and the 2-minute routine. Tomorrow, add the movement pause once or twice. The next day, upgrade the snack. Keep the wins and stay kind to the rest. If a night goes badly, don't throw the plan away. Reset the next evening. The body loves patterns, and it learns quickly when the pattern is gentle and consistent. And if someone tells you cramps are just part of getting older, smile and show them your new toolkit. Age brings wisdom, and wisdom is knowing which levers to pull. Your levers are short and simple. You don't need perfection. You need a handful of steady signals your calves can trust. It's your evening, your blanket, your glass, your snack, your 2 minutes. You are not at the mercy of a midnight ambush. Before we close, a few final comforts. If you wake from a cramp, it's normal to feel wary the next night. That's okay. Do your routine anyway. The repetition will calm your nervous system. If your calf feels sore the next day, treat it kindly. Warm water, a gentle walk, ankle pumps, and those toe-up pulses will ease the residual tightness. If you sit for a long time during the day, add a few movement pauses then too, because prevention loves the daylight as much as the evening. If you exercise, cool down with gentle ankle pumps and soft massage rather than an aggressive stretch. And if you have other conditions or medications, weave these tips around your medical plan and talk with your clinician if you're unsure about compression, footwear, or fluid goals for your specific situation. You've learned why the night is cramp territory. Less movement so blood rests in the lower legs, toes pointing under the blanket shortening the calf, and hydration or snack patterns that irritate muscle and interrupt sleep. You've identified 6 evening habits that flip the cramp switch and the exact swaps to turn it off. Break the couch marathon with 90-second flow breaks. Keep the feet from pointing with a calf pillow and free toes. Take tight socks off for sleep and elevate briefly. Front-load fluids and stop the late flood. Pair night snacks with protein and fiber, and trade harsh stretches for gentle activation. You've practiced a 2-minute micro-routine you can do in bed and a 7-day plan to make the changes stick. You know the red flags that mean it's time to be checked. And you've heard from people like George and Maria who turned down the volume on their nighttime pain with tiny, repeatable moves. If this was helpful, I think you'll love what comes next. We're going to focus on that notorious 3 a.m. cramp and show you how to shut it down in 90 seconds with a simple foot flex fix. No medications, no forceful stretching, just a calm, precise sequence you can do half asleep. If you found value here, join me in the next video where we dive deeper into the foot flex fix and give you even more nighttime peace.